Americans go out in droves on Memorial Day. Playing dead won't help you. And is a nursing home the most dangerous place in America? All that and more coming up right now on the BS Podcast.
You're listening to the BS Podcast, where we cover all of the bull in the news and more. Now, welcome your hosts, Dave and Zach.
Hello and welcome to the BS Podcast, where we talk the absurd, the ridiculous, and yes, the bullshit. My fellow connoisseur in bullshit, Mr. Zach, joins me as we've narrowed down the top 10 bullshittiest stories of the week, haven't we, Zach?
Yes, we have. You know, Dave, I was thinking the other day on your Friday podcast with Ronnie Johnson, Get Informed America, you refer to him as the smartest man you know, so I guess that would make me the dumbest man you know, right?
You know, you got to have a contrast. You know,
exactly.
One show does one thing, the other show does another thing. I'm the most mediocre man. Yeah. I guess somewhere in the middle there. No, that is funny, and that's true, you know, because as we mentioned last week, Zach, here you and I take a lighthearted stab at some of the silly things that are going on, and there's a little bit of I don't know, some outrage, you know, kind of to vent at all the stupid stuff going on. But yes, the show with Rodney is a little different. We have a more studious take on the news. So yes, we provide that contrast for all of you. And I appreciate all the support from all of you that have been listening. And of course, I will say this at the end, but you can always get real smart news in your inbox by going to informedamerican.com and signing up. That is the way to go. Also, if you happen to, and subscribe to this channel, of course. And, you know, we also have a Facebook page, don't we, Zach? It's pretty hot. We always got content up there.
Oh, yeah. Live videos almost daily.
Yes. Zach, let me run down our top 10 topics before we start. We've got... oh, my goodness. I think that's absolutely blowing up today as we are on Tuesday after Memorial Day. A woman calling the police on a man in Central Park over a dispute of an unleashed dog. We will get to that. That's number one. Number two, Peruvian mayor poses as corpse to avoid arrest for flouting coronavirus lockdown. There's a lot of humor this week. And then number three is that question that I posed in the intro. Is a nursing home the most dangerous place in America? We have that horrible video and just horrible story to unpack. I don't want to say I can't wait, but it's a very infuriating story. Number four, America casts COVID caution to the wind as revelers hit beaches again after heavy Memorial Day weekend celebrations. Number five, Mississippi church that refused to obey lockdown orders burned down by arsonist who left a message. Number six, why are pools closed? The CDC says no evidence of transmission in pools. Yeah, I got a big problem with that. Joe Biden, quote, "You ain't black." Let's try to delicately walk that one, Zach, on number eight. Number eight, men with longer ring fingers face lower risk of dying from COVID-19. We'll evaluate we'll pull out the bullshitometer for that one. Number nine, shocking moment, a gang of weed-smoking girls beat security guard in a wild brawl. And number 10, go topless Jeep weekend leads to hilarious viral news report and 180 arrests. So those are our top 10 stories. Zach, before we go over them, let's veer into the hyperlocal. What do you got going on in your sphere? What's the bullshit? What's going on with you, buddy?
You know, man, nothing. It has been a nice, quiet, relaxing Memorial Day weekend.
Good. Were you out and about? Like the reverend we're going to talk about, or were you home?
I didn't do shit, man. I stayed at home. We did have a couple of friends come over Saturday night.
Nice. And
we just kind of, hung out in my house and, had some drinks, but.
Did you all wear masks?
No, did not wear masks. It's in my own house. You know what I mean? My own house, my rules,
Yeah,
I'm not wearing a mask in my house. If someone wanted to wear a mask, sure, go for it. I don't care. But.
Stay 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the case for me, we had a kind of a rainy Monday, so we stayed in, and we also didn't want to fight the crowds, wherever they might have been. Most likely the beach. I'm not ready to do that. Although, getting into the end of the week, I've got my eyes on maybe a Thursday visit to the beach. We went out on Saturday or Sunday. Wife and I did some shopping, put on the mask, went out there, bought a few things, and just a pretty chill weekend. It's nice to have a day off.
Oh yeah.
Bullshit for me is my anniversary is coming up this Saturday, and we've got nowhere to go. So we got
join the club, man.
Yeah, so we'll well, we take trips or whatever, and then we started doing some like more like staycations around the area, but you can't even do that. And thank God sucks for you and would have sucked for anybody because we normally book an Airbnb to do that. And I know your horror story of not getting your money back.
Yeah, right. Yeah, don't do it.
Other bullshit for me, I fell on my ass. I mean, literally going down my stairs. I have like one big flight of stairs that turns into a landing and then turns. And we have a little rug there on the landing, and I slipped in like a cartoon character, went up and went bam, right on my butt. I would love to show people this, but I can't because it's my ass. Yeah. My entire right cheek is this huge, like, just stamp of black and blue. It's like,
oh man, I feel you.
Hilarious. All right, buddy. So you ready to get into our top 10 bullshittiest stories of the week?
I'm always ready.
All right. Let's start with story number 1. White woman who hysterically called 911 to report a, quote, African-American man threatening her life after he asked her to leash her dog in Central Park apologizes as she is suspended from her investment firm job and gives up pet. This story has blown up all around the country. And we'll let's before we editorialize too much, Zach, maybe let's let everyone decide. Everyone take a look at the video, and then we can maybe let everyone kind of make up their own mind. So let's share this bit of craziness.
Stop. Sir, I'm asking you to stop.
Please don't come close to me.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording me.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to
And
me.
I'm taking pictures and calling the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, I'm in the Ramble, and there is a man, African-American, he has a bicycle helmet. He is recording me and threatening me and my dog. There is an African-American man, I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog. And my... I'm sorry, I can't hear you either. I'm being threatened by a man in the Ramble. Please send the cops immediately. I'm in Central Park in the Ramble. I don't know.
Thank you.
So, first of all, we don't know really what happened before this encounter.
Yeah. Let's just go off the phone, just the cell phone video one to start. There's an African-American man threatening my life.
Right.
That's like all you need to hear. Like
right.
While you're watching, that's it. That the video should your whole way of viewing this video and having your commentary should be like done after that line. Like,
so she wasn't being descriptive here. She knew what she was saying. She was, to get, in other words, to make it sound like him sound extra scary. Is that what you're saying? Versus being like, so she was basically playing some kind of a race card.
Yeah,
here?
yeah. What? How is he threatening her life at all?
No.
You know what I mean? There's an African-American man threatening my life. Like,
send SWAT team? Like, what?
Yeah. Do you think that every time you pass a black person on the street that they're threatening your life? I mean, like, come on now.
Yeah, I mean, to talk about bullshit here, I mean, just going a little bit overboard. I mean, she's lost it. She's clearly lost it. I mean, the way she's pulling her dog by the collar, I mean, she's like wrangling that thing around, and she's upset, and the dog's confused, trying to like, probably, I know, like when I'm angry or if something's going on, my dog wants to be like on top of me. So I think that's kind of what was going on. The dog's like, "Hey, what's going on, Mom? Why are you dragging me around by my neck?" So. Now, we don't need to mention this woman's name, but she's apparently been suspended from her job and apologized, which is that's a start.
Yeah,
and had the dog removed from her custody. Is now in some kind of animal control. So, just really, really bad. Now, as a person who just last week, I think we talked about how I was saying how in my townhome association, I got a letter about my dog being off leash. This is not what happened. That was not my reaction when I got that letter to call the cops or something.
Well, Dave, I mean, if apparently if you had a different colored skin, you would have got the cops called on you for, threatening people's lives with your
Ugh.
dog off the leash, apparently.
Unbelievable. This is such bullshit to do that. Now, if we want to talk a little bit about this, there is, I don't want to call this a wrinkle, but there's some more context into what's going on, which I have a question for you to maybe get some explanation here. This other man, Christian Cooper, because the interesting is both their last names are Cooper. The guy's name is Christian and her name is Amy Cooper, who they're now calling her Karen. If if you don't know who Karen is, it means it's basically an entitled woman who tries to overreacts and calls the authorities on things that could be settled very easily between each other. By the way, maybe it was a Karen who reported my dog being off leash.
Maybe.
It was. Gotta watch out for these Karens.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so this guy on Facebook, the man who shot the video, said in Central Park this morning. Now he's an avid bird watcher. There's a picture here in the Daily Mail about him with binoculars. So I guess he likes to go out and look at the birdies. And I'm assuming this isn't his first time he's dealt with off leash dogs. So he's in the ramble. He says, "Hey, he reminds her that she needs to be on the leash at all times, and she basically is like, whatever, it's not a big deal. I'm scared to go to the other place where I can let them off leash." And then here's where it gets interesting, though. So he says, "Look, if you're gonna do what you want, I'm gonna do what I want, but you're not gonna like it." I mean, is this what she's talking about? And she goes, "What's that?" And he goes, "Come here, puppy." And she says, "He won't come to you." And he says, "Well, we'll see about that. I pull out my dog treats I carry for such intransigence, and I don't even get a chance to toss any treats to the pooch before Karen he calls her Karen, scrambled to grab the dog. Don't touch my dog." And we started, and that's when we pick up, according to the story, that's when we pick up with the video recording. Now, the question for you, Zach, is what was he doing with those treats? And when the dog came, what was he going to do with the dog?
So that's what usually happens, right? There's a video that comes out, and then you guys start digging in there, and you feel like why she thought her life was in danger. One, her life wasn't in danger.
No.
Maybe her dog's life was in danger.
Possibly.
You know what I mean? That's what my first thought would have been. If some guy was like, "You're not going to like it," and then called my dog, I'm thinking, all right, you're going to probably try to poison my dog or something. But at that point, I would probably just say, okay, I'm just going to get the fuck away from this guy and just leave. You don't
call the cops hysterically because it makes it worse. Now, so I'm assuming he goes there a lot, and he yells at people who leave their dogs off leash, which is fine, because I get it. Even as a violator myself, I get that in that spot they need to be on the leash. But was he going once the dog again? Once the dog came to him and ate the treats, what was he going to do? Was he going to leash the dog up and take it? What was he going to do with it?
I think in my mind, I imagine him like turning into an Anchorman type situation where he just picks up the dog and then punts it. Like you know what I mean? Like when Jack Black, I think it was, punts Will Ferrell's dog off the bridge. You know what I mean? Come here, dog. And then he just takes a 2-step back and, kicks it off the bridge. That's what I imagine.
So, okay. So she was, I wouldn't say he was threatening the dog, but he was maybe trying to, in her mind, take possession of the dog in some weird way or something like that. So I could see why she would be defensive that way, but he was not. I mean, again, we weren't there, but there seemed to be zero indication that her life was ever threatened or in danger. This is just a spat with a stranger, right? It's just something that happens.
Yeah. From all the evidence that I've seen, it doesn't seem like her life was in danger. Not one bit. It was just her, freaking out because of the color of his skin. And I mean, maybe she feared for her dog, but at that point, why don't you just take your dog and leave?
I agree.
Now if he started chasing her, right? Let's say she got her dog and left and was like leaving with her dog and said, "Okay, I'm just going to get away from this guy."
Yeah, he started
following her and chasing her. Then maybe I would call the police and say, "There's a man chasing me."
That's a different story.
Something like that. But just from what we've seen, come on, lady.
And just a general bullshit, everything you said is absolutely right. But in general, why can't we just solve disputes between ourselves rather than having to call the cops or having to write to the HOA or something? Why can't we just have a conversation like adults without freaking out and escalating to this crazy level?
There's no in between anymore, man. It's either call the cops or pull out a weapon or get violent, right? People just can't talk about things anymore without losing their shit.
We've seemed to have lost something, and I don't know if I mean, I'm not going to blame this on the pandemic. This is people have been crazy always, but it does seem our social skills they seem to be slim to none out there, and it's and you can't trust people out there because you don't know how they're going to react or what they're going to do. I mean, this guy. I mean, he's apparently innocent here. Again, we're not really sure what he was going to do with the dog. It's a little odd, but from his perspective, it would have been better to just not even say anything because she's going to freak out and call the cops on me. And what if the cops happen to believe her and I didn't get a chance to record this on my phone? What would happen to me? They're going to come. This woman said you're threatening. They'd probably take him in at minimum, right?
Oh yeah.
But then who knows what? Now he's falsely arrested for something.
Yeah.
Based on screaming rantings of a woman.
Yeah, if the cops came there and he didn't have any kind of evidence, like this African American man is threatening my life, like what's going to happen at that point?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's hard. I mean, it's hard to the cops supposed to do nothing. So just don't call the cops unless.
Yeah, maybe take a fucking chill pill and like think about it. And if their rules are for your dog to not be leashed, maybe put the dog on the leash and just fucking mind your business. And then maybe when he leaves, you can take your dog off the leash again. You know what I mean?
Classic trick.
Yeah.
I've done it.
Yeah. People do that in my neighborhood all the time. Like, cause there's like a rule in my neighborhood too. No.
Yeah.
Your dog has to be leashed.
Right.
How many times I see someone without their dog on a leash and then they see someone else coming and they say, come here, buddy, and put the leash on him and wait till the person gets further away and then they take their dog off the leash again and let him go.
It's no big deal. That essentially, that's what I say. I mean, that's essentially the spirit of the rule, right? Is to not be a nuisance.
Yeah.
And at that point, she was being a nuisance. And when somebody confronts her, you can't just, it's like, all right, sorry, and you move on or something. Or you wait the guy, you let him do his bird watching and move on.
I mean, this guy's bird watching. What the dog comes over and jumps on him? He loses a good shot of like a little bird or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, absolute bullshit all around for story number one. Let's get in. Let's move to a hilarious one. Zach, Peruvian mayor poses as corpse to avoid arrest for flouting coronavirus lockdown. This story comes from Fox News. It says the mayor in a town in Peru posed as a dead coronavirus victim by lying in a coffin while wearing a face mask. Zach, we got a picture of this. Let's throw that up. And this is all to avoid being arrested for violating lockdown rules that he should have been helping enforce, according to reports Thursday. And he was out drinking with his friends on Monday night when he allegedly played dead to throw off cops who arrived to bust them for defying public health orders amid the pandemic.
I want to know what the hell was going through his head, like when the cops busted in his door, where he went, where he came up with the idea, like if I lay down and pretend to be dead, the cops will just leave. You know what I mean? Like the cops will walk in and see a dead body laying there in a coffin and be like, well, I guess he's dead. Let's just go.
Well, Corona got another one. Let's move on, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, is that stupid, right? Yeah. Because then they're going to treat it like a dead body and they're just going to invite more scrutiny to come call the coroner or something. There wasn't. He's like, shit, I'm alive. I don't know.
Yeah. How long is he going to like take? Wait till they get him like to the morgue and then he like unzips the body bag and like goes home at that point?
He's trying to make his way out. How long can I lie still? All the way up to the point where they light up the crematorium or whatever.
Yeah. He falls asleep and they do end up like turning the flame on. He's like, oh fuck.
Oh man, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah, and then why were they apparently they were in a room with open caskets, and I just don't. The whole thing's bizarre and hilarious and absolute bullshit.
Maybe his buddy like worked at a funeral home and he just said, hey, while I work on these bodies, why don't you just come have some beers with me?
Yeah, we can hang out here. Yeah, and then if anybody comes in, we'll just pretend you're one of the victims. Unbelievable. All right, Zach, let's get to the most that's a hilarious story. Let's get to maybe the most outrageous story maybe we've covered yet on this show. There's a video that made its way around. Actually, the video of a man beating up of a young man, I'll call it 20-year-old man beating up an elderly man in a nursing home made its way around social media. President Trump retweeted this, basically saying like, what is it? He says, is this even possible to believe? Can this be for real? Where is this nursing home? How is the victim doing? The president tweeted on this video. I mean, this is a little bit of violent. Do you think you still want to show this one? This one was all around the world, so I think we're safe here, right?
Yeah, just give a little warning. Skip ahead a couple minutes if you're watching.
Yeah, I mean, there's no well, there's some blood, but it's not like it's blurred out, but it's still
Yeah.
it's very upsetting. But with all that said, let's go ahead and show it.
See this again? We can even get on my bed. Off my bed.
This is Zach. What the heck's going on here? What is this? Why is this? Who is this guy, and why is he beating up this old man?
I don't know. At first, when I first saw this, I immediately thought it was a nursing home like attendant. It looked like he was kind of wearing scrubs.
Yeah.
And there is this kind of like weird thing going on in daycares and nursing homes of people that get power from like abusing helpless people.
Right.
You see it all the time of like video of babysitter abusing, caught on nanny cam abusing kids or
Exactly.
with the elderly. And as sad as it is to say, it's not that unbelievable that something like that would happen in a nursing home. And I guess that's the bullshit of it, is just how fucked up people can be. But then when you dive deeper into who he was, that gets to be the real bullshit.
Exactly. I thought the same thing you did. This is a worker, and we've seen you're right. This is common, and I've seen many of these kinds of videos for older people just getting abused. There's one I saw, some guy in the corner was getting beat with a belt. Another one, some guy was being thrown onto his bed. I mean, this is not new. Like as you said, especially because they're vulnerable. And no one, and who knows, if the families checks up on them, keeps up on it, and if the management isn't on top of the workers to make sure everyone's doing the right thing, this is ripe for abuse.
And if it's a Happy Gilmore situation, you got like fucking Ben Stiller who like runs the nursing home. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah, that's the worst situation you could possibly be in.
Yeah, that's a great point. So this is you don't want a Happy Gilmore situation for your grandma. Now that's bad. That's bad enough.
Yeah.
But the reality is even worse. This guy was not a worker. He was a fellow patient. He was arrested on some manslaughter charge. And then while he was in custody, he was like sick or something, tested positive for the coronavirus. And just like in New York and a couple of other states, in Michigan, the governor mandates that nursing homes take in sick patients that are discharged out of the hospital. This guy wasn't even an employee. He should not be there for any reason. And now he gets COVID. They bring him in a nursing home. So he's a danger to want to get them sick just because he's contagious. And then he goes around and punches people. My God, what is this bullshit, Zach?
Yeah. The first bullshit is that they're even putting coronavirus patients in nursing homes anyway. They already said
By the way, while they're making sure that if you got coronavirus, you get sent into a nursing home, they're emptying out the jails. How about that?
Yeah.
They release the inmates to prevent the spread of coronavirus in the prison population. But nursing homes, whatever. Go get them sick. Go beat them up. Do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, clearly there's a priority over criminals than there is over elderly nursing home patients.
Oh, unbelievable. How is this allowed? I mean, I'm outraged. I know you're outraged.
Yeah.
Everyone watching is outraged. What's being done here? This is barely even I mean, the video itself was news for a while, but why isn't like there's some massive investigation on this negligence?
I have no idea how it even happened in the first place. I guess because he's like a young person, like walking around a nursing home. Like I said, I thought he looked like he was wearing scrubs. Maybe just someone's like, oh, maybe that's the new guy Gerald who's here working or something like that. You know,
I mean, this thing about sending patients into the nursing home is horrible. But I just assumed that these patients were maybe they were in the nursing home and then they go to the hospital and then they have to come back, or there are other elderly people too, not 20-year-olds, who are facing not manslaughter, some sort of robbery charge or something. Is this is that not the very definition of unsafe?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
This is bullshit on top of bullshit. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy and it's bullshit. That's what I was going to say, you know?
This is a bullshit onion. And as you peel back the layers, it gets worse and worse. The guy's own father, there's a quote here on a story from WXYZ. Suspect's father, who asked not to be named, said his son has had mental health issues and pending assault charge in Washtenaw County. This is somewhere in Michigan. It should never been placed in the nursing home. This is his own father. Quote, he has issues, and for them to put him in a facility like that, nothing good was going to happen, the suspect's father told 7 Action News. He said his son was recently moved to the nursing center because the 20-year-old was diagnosed with COVID at the University of Michigan Hospital. This is his own father says you shouldn't have put him in there. This kid's going to a danger. And what? For what? I don't know. I'm beyond angry at this. I'm so mad.
Yeah, I don't even know the concept behind why put them in a nursing home. Like what?
Because they got beds. Is that literally it?
I guess I don't know.
The place with beds.
Yeah. Why don't you just go home? Why don't like they do a home arrest situation where they put like COVID, like ankle bracelets on like COVID people. Go home. We'll monitor you and make sure you don't leave. Like,
and you know he's clearly able-bodied. It wasn't like he was bedridden or anything. He's out there beating people up.
Yeah,
walking around just fine, seemingly. Unreal, absolutely unreal, Zach. This is maybe the bullshittiest bullshittiest story of the year so far. Well, can we recover here? And after a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, let's have a bit of a
what do we got
here.
next?
We had of course Memorial Day holiday, and the crowds came out. We got a story here from the Daily Mail. I mean, it's just pictures. Maybe you could throw some of these up as we scroll through. People getting arrested, people reveling, people going crazy, and there's this great video from the Lake of the Ozarks. I think basically typifies America getting back out there. Zach, let's take a look. All right, so that one.
Do you know how filthy that damn water has gotta be? Oh man, I wouldn't go in that water in non-coronavirus times. You know how that water is just nothing but piss now.
That's
like all these
filthy.
people in there drinking.
It's bad, pandemic or not.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Oof.
Oh. So Zach, America decided, look, it's time to party. It's the unofficial start of summer. We're all gonna pack like sardines all around the country, go out and celebrate Memorial Day without a care in the world. So, question for you, Zach. I'd like you to be the judge of this bullshit. Is it bullshit that everybody went out and did what they did, or is it bullshit that we're out here, worried and shaming these people for going out there and trying to have a good time? Where do you come down on that? Putting it all on you.
I mean, everyone's been pent up in their houses for so damn long.
Yeah.
I'm at this point where if that's how you want to be, if you want to go out and packing like that, have at it and have fun. But, there's no way that you can enforce social distancing in that situation. Like, there's no way.
No, I agree. And I think what's going on, too, is people are just like, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm no longer, and I talked to in fact, I talked to our Facebook group today. I went live and we had asked them the question, if there is some second wave and we see some spike in infections and deaths, and your state governor says, look, we gotta shut this, we gotta reel this thing back, we gotta maybe go back to a lockdown. Would you comply? And everybody said, with the exception of a couple people, everybody said no.
Yeah.
And it's not just them. I mean, this is what's going on. People they're just not going to obey. I think if they try to tell someone to shut down their business, I don't think they're going to do it. What do you think?
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's a situation just like this. I mean, you see little videos online, like the one we talked about a couple of weeks ago, where the cop trying to bust up that little college party or whatever, and
getting shoved,
threw him in the fucking water like a dude. That's just kind of like the spark of it, right? But there's going to be a lot more serious things that people are going to be doing. Yeah, because they're just not going to comply. They're not going to follow rules. And people are just fed up at this point. It's been months, and if it's like a store, if it's something like a grocery store where all walks of life have to go to, you know what I mean? Like wear a fucking mask, because you're not only like a danger to yourself, you're putting other people in danger if you're a carrier of it and you don't know it. True. Right? I mean, if you're in a grocery store and there's a little old lady or immune affected person next to you or something like that, you're putting that person at risk. In a situation like the Lake of the Ozarks, clearly the only people that are there packed in like sardines are people that don't care about the virus. Right. Yeah. In that kind of situation, it's like, well, no one's being forced to go there. It's not like it's an essential service where everybody has to go to it. Right. No, I agree. And he makes some good points. Although what's really interesting about what you said about wearing the mask in a grocery store, which I do when I go, and I said when we were out, I put on the mask because I think it's just smart. It doesn't cost you anything to do it. Yeah. But you know what I've noticed? Who doesn't wear a mask? What I've seen when I go, it's about 80% mask wearers. You get 20-year-olds and like 80-year-olds. I would say those are the biggest groups that don't wear a mask. There is that little old lady, and I've seen that little old lady, and sometimes she's not wearing a mask, and it's kind of like, whoa. It's kind of nothing. I've never not seen anyone wear a mask inside of a store. Most people don't wear them until right the second they walk in, as far as I've seen. Yeah. So you're like 100% in the store where you are? Yeah, I've never seen anyone walk through a store not wearing a mask. I think there was one time I was going into Home Depot and a man walked in without a mask on. And they said, "Sir, you can't be in here without a mask on." Oh. And he said, "Oh, okay." And he left, so that's store policy. Without starting trouble. Yeah, without starting any trouble. He didn't call the cops? No, he didn't call the cops. Or take a cell phone video, or threaten to sue him, or claim HIPAA or whatever. No. I don't have to tell you. Yeah. He, that was the only time I've seen that happen in the last couple months. And whoever this man was, he was respectful. He just said, "Okay," and he left. He left the store. So I think that's a difference of policy, because down here in Freedom Loving Florida, we don't have any such rules. They're going to make me wear a mask. I think it's a little different on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, where we get a little bit more conservative, a little more in the rural areas. Okay. There is some pictures over the weekend of Ocean City, Maryland, which people are just packed like sardines into the boardwalk. No one's wearing masks. Yeah. Were you tempted to? You said you had people over, but were you tempted to go down there to venture out and see what was going on? What, down the beach? Yeah. Is it far from you, or? It's about 2.5 hours. That's a hike. So I think I'm actually going to go visit my parents in a few weeks. My parents live down there and in the Delaware side. Okay. So I think I'm going to go visit them in a few weeks. But according to them, they're kind of like in the Delaware side. They're like, it's pretty much just lockdown. There's no boardwalks up there. It's just beaches. But they said, you put on your mask, you go pick up food. Do that kind of thing. I just want to get out of my house, basically. I just want to go stay somewhere else for like a weekend, Yeah. No, I hear that. And actually, we're thinking about because they've had restaurants open here, and I think I said that it's open for outdoor seating, and we haven't gone yet. And I'm thinking about maybe the next day or two, I'm gonna brave it. Sitting outside. I don't want to go inside, but sitting outside. And, 6 feet apart. To me, man, unless at that point you're like, does the server have it, and he's just gonna sneeze on me, and I just hope not. I don't know. See, I think I hate sitting outside. Oh man, unless it's a bar, unless it's like a beach bar, you know what I mean? It's like right on the beach. something like that, I like sitting outside. But just like normal restaurants in the middle of the city, I hate sitting outside because there's no fucking air. It's just hot. It sucks, man. Unless nighttime's nice, but
So you got to get your heat tolerance, because around here, I mean, you sit out. I mean, even unless it's like 2 in the afternoon without shade.
Oh yeah,
almost everyone's outside eating. It's kind of the lifestyle, which I like actually. But yeah, it's every situation is a little different.
Yeah.
I can understand, but I hadn't heard. There's nothing around here where the masks are actually mandated. It just seems to be. Good smarts and maybe a little bit of social pressure. So
Yeah.
I guess without a rule, I'd say my estimate is about 80% compliance or just 80%. I think that's pretty good.
Gotcha.
But yeah, throw up all these pictures, Zach, from all around the country. Let's see what's going on in Ocean City, in your neck of the woods. And if you do go out, Zach, I want you to give a detailed report about what you did, where you went, what any rules you broke, or if you got into any disputes with strangers. All right, buddy, let's move on. That was it for Memorial Day. Let's move on to story number 5. I know this is one of your favorites. Mississippi church that refused to obey lockdown orders burnt. Well, not that you didn't like this. Hold on. Before you didn't like what happened here, but there's something about the story that you liked. Let me start that again. Number 5, Mississippi church that refused to obey lockdown orders burned down by arsonist who leaves a message. This story comes from Red State. I mean, look, this debate of I think people have gotten wound up so nuts. Before maybe I hand this off to you, I think people have been wound up so nuts about people who want to go out and go to the church or go do their thing, that they really believe that going to the church is going to kill all of us or something. So someone really took that to heart and went down and said, well, you're a danger to society. You're going to infect all these people by going to church. So my solution here is to burn the freaking thing down. This is unbelievable, Zach.
Oh, yeah. Now, I do understand his sentiment that COVID-19 could spread rampant through churches. It just could. However, that's their right if they want to go to church or not. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. And you can't burn the fucking building down because you don't agree with it. You know what I mean? That's just going too far. And the funniest thing was he left a note behind. I think he said he painted graffiti on the concrete that said, I bet you stay at home now, hypocrites. But the funniest thing about it was that he spelled hypocrites wrong.
It was like with a K or something.
Yeah, he spelled it with a K. But, I was looking up. I kept saying like Hippocrates.
Hippocrates.
But I looked it up, and apparently the word hypocrite comes from like the Greek word Hippocrates with a K or whatever. I think that's how you say it. And so maybe he's just actually a very smart person, and he was like using Greek mythology. I don't know, but
see, we're not just here for the crazy headlines and the mindlessness and the craziness. We're here where you can get an education here. It's like learning the origin of the word hypocrite.
Yeah. Just add a K to it. Now you're speaking Greek.
So, I mean, I don't have a ton on this, but this is, I mean, I don't know if like hate crime is the right word, but burning down a church, that's pretty bad. I don't know what's going to happen to this person, but that's pretty serious. I mean, that they're certainly crossing a line there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't classify it as a hate crime. It's a house of worship. It's a religion. If you burnt down another church, if it was a Jewish temple or
a mosque,
yeah, that would have been considered a hate crime.
Oh,
right.
If this was a mosque, this would have been national news for 2 weeks. Yeah, it is. I mean, I understand your point, and I get maybe the guy's point, but we did lock down the church. They were, I don't know, for a good month. There's a big thing about Easter, right? Remember Easter? That feels like a year ago.
Yeah.
But there was most places weren't allowed to be open for Easter around the country, and now things have slowly opened up. It's just sort of like what you're saying the last point. I mean, everyone kind of has to judge their own level of risk and to go out there. And if it is that important to you, if you're sick, stay home. Don't. I don't want you to be sick and going out.
Yeah.
But figure out what your level of risk is, and within reason. I think that's okay.
If you have a problem with it, be a normal American and use your American right to protest. Go get a picket and a sign and stand out front of there.
Stand out there, yeah.
Yell whatever you want. You have free speech. You can say whatever you want. as long as you're not inciting violence or using hateful slurs. But
Horrible.
yeah, don't burn the fucking building down. It's common sense, man.
Yeah. Yeah. This is awful. This is no one. This should not. This is the last thing you should be doing. And I really do think, to go back to my point, I think people have been. There's hysteria on both sides. You've got people on one hand with the you can't tell me what to do kind of a thing. I don't want to wear a mask. I'm going to go out and do whatever I want. And then there's the we're all going to die if we don't stay home forever kind of people. Yeah. And this is what it feels like, that sort of conflict of those two mindsets, and ends in something horrible.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Now, Zach, we'd like to touch on a story from the inspiration of this show. Zach, in fact, was the BS tab on InformedAmerican.com, and of course we've grown out a little bit to some things outside of InformedAmerican.com. But this story, our next story, number 6, is why are pools closed? CDC says no evidence virus spread in pools. Now, I don't know if you well, you don't have. Do you have a pool, Zach?
I do not have a pool.
Okay. Do you know anybody who
no pool?
Community pool?
No community pool.
Okay, so I've got a community pool in my townhome association. It has been closed. They will not reopen it because of 6-foot things. You got someone needs to be out there to apparently wipe everything down every 20 minutes and all this stuff. So nobody can go to the pool. It's been locked up for 2 months. And here we go there's a little bit of a case of bad information along the way, and I'm waiting for them to catch up because we got news from the CDC that there was, quote, no evidence that the virus that causes COVID-19 can be spread to people through the water in pools, hot tubs, spas, or water play areas. Proper operation and maintenance, including disinfection with chlorine and bromine, which is in the pool, these facilities should inactivate the virus in the water. So there's no worry of transmission from I don't know. I guess if you got it and you spit or cough in the water, getting into somebody. But it's just bullshit. Open up the pools. What do you say?
I don't know, man. I'm thinking about that fucking picture from the Lake of the Ozarks.
They're in a pool there. That is what pool.
Maybe it doesn't live in the water, but it lives in the fucking air around. Still. You don't have chlorine in the air, and you're packed in like sardines. I mean,
all right. So you want my community pool to be closed still? That's what you're telling me.
That's what you just said. How are you going to enforce social distancing though? That's the thing. And I mean, I guess it goes back to the whole. If you're concerned about it, just stay home.
Right. I mean, they could hire a lifeguard, which they won't. That's ridiculous. It's a townhome place. There's no on duty lifeguard.
Yeah, which weird when you think about it. Like you think that they would be responsible if someone drowns.
Yeah. Well, it really just comes down to paying someone.
Unless there's signs that just say swim at your own risk.
Yeah.
Kind
exactly.
of like it is on the beach. I mean,
so why is that any different with COVID-19? I'm gonna sunbathe at my own risk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a Lake of the Ozark party at my own risk.
That's just where it comes down to, I guess. You know what I mean? It's like you know what? It's to this point where just open everything back up, and everyone have the philosophy of what's his name, Ivan Drago. Dolph Lundgren from Rocky IV. If he dies, he dies. Like that's just where America's going to be at this point.
Can we play that clip because it's such a great clip?
Sure.
I agree. I mean, that's where we're headed, and this is kind of maybe the theme of this whole conversation is we are headed to everything being opened up, and but it is good news at least. I mean, maybe we can't do the distancing, but at least you don't have to worry. That's one less thing to worry about, the transmission through water. The chlorine will kill it. The big thing was the surface stuff that got revised about a week or two ago. Transmission from surfaces is not a worry because I told you this. I was going to have a nervous breakdown at some point because I was Lysoling everything that came in my house. And at some point I had to be like, look, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I have to be reasonable. And it turns out a lot of that worry was for nothing. So thank you very much. What about you? Have you changed your attitude? I mean, did you go crazy like me about anything? Have you changed your thinking about this whole thing, or were you right on top of it the whole time?
No, I never have been crazy about it. I didn't wear a mask until it was actually law. We had to wear a mask indoors. Like before that, I never wore a mask inside, and until it was law, because at that point we were at a really steep part of the curve in Maryland, so it was like, might as well just do it. But and I still do. I never wore gloves.
You're so much better than me. You're so much smarter.
Wear the mask,
Well, let me ask you this. Were you worried about being so close in proximity to a major city like Baltimore? Did that give you pause? And also really even you're a lot closer to, to D.C. and, of course, to New York City, which is really the epicenter of the pandemic.
No, I think the actual suburbs are worse than the city.
Okay.
Because, no one's downtown for anything. Everyone's back home in the suburbs where, most people live in Baltimore City. So it's, I think I drove through there to get to my parents' house, and it was a fucking ghost town. There was nobody there. Our offices were like one of the last offices in Baltimore City. It feels like that closed. I remember it was just like me and like two other people in our building saying like, "What the hell? When are we going to close? Everyone else around us is closed."
In fact, our first BS podcast episode was from the office, right?
The one and only.
Yeah.
That was the last Tuesday I was in the office, Dave.
It was quite setup.
That following week.
It looked really good. I liked you being in there. Yeah. And right after that, it was home.
Yeah.
How are you adjusting to working at home?
It's all right. I'm ready to go. Right. I'm ready to leave here, man.
Get out.
It sucks. Yeah.
All right. Well, now I know you're a better man than me, and whenever I'm worried about something, I'll go to get your opinion first before I freak out.
Sounds good.
All right, Zach. Let's move on to number 7. We have a Joe Biden gaffe here, Zach. Again, we want to tiptoe over the stories like this, but maybe I'll let Joe Biden speak for himself. He was talking to the Breakfast Club, a show there, in his appearance, and let's get to the end here, or not get to the end, but let's get to the Biden comments and let him speak for himself.
Then you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to.
All right. So, pretty clear there.
Oh yeah. Hashtag you ain't black went viral after that interview.
Let me ask you first. If you don't have a brain, can you have a gaffe? If you're brain dead, does it matter what you say?
Yeah. Oh man.
This is it's the bullshit here is how insulting it is, right?
Oh yeah, it's insulting that just because of the color of your skin, he's automatically entitled to your vote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, can you get more entitled with something you say? Like, right. Come on, man.
And then you know what? You can't be a free thinking individual, or and because this choice is so obvious, then I don't really necessarily have to address your concerns or make that a part of my policy or anything like that, right?
Yeah, and honestly, it's insulting to the African Americans that vote for Trump. There are black people that vote for Trump, and you're essentially saying that they're not African Americans because they just happen to not like you as a candidate. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, when you hear this, this person's not a real black person, blah blah blah. This is really, if I know one thing, I know that's not helpful.
No,
if I know anything, I don't know a lot, but I know that's not good, and it doesn't help. It's really a stupid freaking thing to say.
Yeah.
Absolute bullshit. I don't have a lot more on that. Do you want to just move on before we step into a minefield?
Yeah, let's go. Let's move on.
Okay,
I don't think anyone wants to hear any more about two white guys talking about,
I know. I don't want to hear it. So.
Yeah.
We got some. Let's get back to something more in our wheelhouse. It's a great bullshit story. It really typifies what we do here on the show. Story from the Daily Mail: men with longer ring fingers face a lower risk of dying from COVID-19 and are more likely to suffer mild symptoms. Study claims. It comes between this is let me put up this picture, Zach, here. Now, if you see, my ring finger is longer than my index finger. See?
Mm-hmm.
And if you go by the ratio, if there's lots of real important science done on this, Zach. This is no, I don't believe this. This is absolutely stupid. I don't know what the hell it matters what your finger length is. Or do you think this is true? Do you think maybe I'm not, maybe because of the length of my ring finger?
What kind of like science has proven that?
I don't know. Well, this comes from okay. So this is what they did. They took on average in certain countries that ratio between your index finger and between your ring finger and your index finger, there is some average ratio per country. And then they went and looked at infection rates per country and concluded that based on the correlation between the two, it seems dubious at best.
So you're automatically disposed to having the disease worse?
Yeah. Because every country is different. They have different ratios and all that. But it doesn't seem like it's got anything to do with that. You know, like the Philippines is different than Africa, is different than South America, is different than China or something like that. I mean, this is absolutely stupid. This is the kind of nonsense tabloid stuff you can find, poking around out there on the internet. It's good, and we're here to call that out.
Oh yeah.
So what do you got? Well, put it up, buddy. I mean, which ones? It looks like, actually, I don't know. Well, yeah, it looks like the index is longer.
Yeah. No, my ring finger's longer. That's my ring finger.
Yeah, I know. I was struggling with that too.
Yeah. Yeah, my ring finger's longer.
Yeah. All right. So we're safe.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about that ring you got on. That's a cool one. You want to talk about that?
Sure. It's tattooed on because I lost my wedding ring twice and I didn't feel like buying a new one.
I lost mine once.
Well, let me be fair to myself. I lost it once and my dog ate the second one.
Get out of here.
Yeah. And it was made out of wood. It was made out of wood. So he didn't just swallow it because I would have dug through his shit to try to find it. He actually chewed it up into pieces.
Oh no.
Yeah. So.
Oh, so that one digested. Well, now you know that your marriage is your dog's a part of that now.
Yeah.
So, great. All right, let's go on, Zach, to number 9. Shocking moment. A gang of weed-smoking girls beat security guard in a wild brawl when he refused to let them board an elevator at the Atlanta hotel. Now, this is absolute mayhem, Zach. Let's get into this craziness of a video.
We got a whole week. Look at all these people, bro. I'll bring you down. Oh.
All right, so there's a lot of bullshit here. First of all, the people cheering this on. That might be the worst of it, I think.
Oh, you're always going to have that. It's just
the bystander who's just there to record and laugh. Well, what a jackass.
I mean, people have been doing that since forever. Like when you were in high school and someone got into a fight in high school. I don't think I ever saw another student try to break up a fight. It was always like a teacher or something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's like inbred in us for from the time we're young.
I can't say I haven't been guilty of that myself. Now that you put how about this?
I mean, if I saw a fist fight, I don't think I'd try to break it up. I don't think I'd film it and cheer on either. I'd just kind of be like,
walk away
or business. If it looks really fucking bad, I might like call the cops or something like that. But I don't think I would attempt to go in and break it up.
Yeah, you don't want to get beat up, right?
No, and you don't know who's got a gun or who's got a knife or something like that. You jump in there, next thing you know, you're on the way to the hospital yourself.
Yeah, or who's going to call the cops on you and say you're threatening to kill them or something.
Yeah.
So this guy, this comes from Atlanta. He saw them smoking weed outside the hotel, and as they were trying to go in, he asked for the room number. They refused to give it to him. So they didn't have a room. They're just going up for a party or something like that. He wouldn't let them in, and they weren't having it.
You know how many times I've smelled or seen someone smoking weed out front of a hotel?
How many times have you smoked weed outside of a hotel.
No comment. But who knows what's going on? Is this something where the security guard is just taking, getting too hopped up on power of being a security guard? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, is it his place to deny them entry? I don't know. That's a good question. So is that the bullshit that he? But I mean, he didn't deserve to get beat up. That seems like bullshit.
No, he doesn't deserve to get beat up. As a security guard, does he have a right to lay his hands on him the way he did?
Yeah, I reached out to Hyatt and they got no comment.
Are you fucking with me? Or you
Yes, I did not reach out to Hyatt. I have no freaking idea. But we could have rolled with it.
Yeah, we could have.
Maybe we just make up our own stories.
Yeah, that'd be good. At what point do you need to call the actual police and not have your security guard do it? You know what I mean? Like, at what point do you make that crossover? Because it seems like that was a situation where if they were concerned about drugs and all that, it seems like they should have just involved the police at that point.
Yeah. Now, weed's pretty low level, but we also don't know, what other. I mean, this is a band of, I don't know what you call them, not nice people who are willing to.
Just a band of kids. I mean, they're fighting, partying, whatever. Like, hotel parties happen, their thing. You know what I mean?
Well, I've never been with a group of people who go around and beat someone up, but this may have been.
Well, no.
I've never been in that situation. But I guess if we were up, going to a party or something, or up to a friend's room or something like that, then I'd be probably pretty ticked if they wouldn't let me up.
Yeah.
But I think this is unreal, outrageous, and a lot of bullshit. There's another guy trying to do his job. I mean, how different is this guy than? Well, I don't know. Is this different? This is different than the park ranger that got thrown in the water, right?
I don't know. Park ranger, security guard. What
kind of same?
Someone
trying to do their job.
Who's got more authority there?
I don't think they have any. Neither. That's the answer. We're just punching bags for people. That's right. That's another angle of bullshit there, right? Just
that job. Those positions are just punching bags.
Oh man, do you have any more on this one before we get to possibly the funniest video of the show?
No, man, it's one of those situations where it's like, I don't think the security guard should have laid hands on her in the first place.
Yeah,
but their response to that was obviously starting a fucking brawl in the middle of a Hyatt. I guess was also not appropriate response.
No, not at all. All right, Zach, let's get to the funniest video of the day, I believe. Go topless Jeep weekend leads to hilarious viral news report and 180 arrests. All right, as we like to do, let's jump right in.
Thousands have flocked here to Bolivar Peninsula to make the most of their time while out.
Been in quarantine and I need to get out and party. Woo!
Go topless Jeep weekend.
What's better than beach and a few drinks and Jeeps? Man, it can't get better than that.
In full swing at beaches on Bolivar Peninsula. This event comes at a time where beaches across the state are reopening following the coronavirus pandemic. And beachgoers like Chelsea Collier are still taking precautions to stay safe.
Wash them hands for 20 seconds and keep them clean with their Germ-X. Totally.
At last year's Go Topless event, chaos erupted. About 80 people were arrested. 6 people were taken to the hospital. But this go-round, the Galveston County Sheriff's Office has enlisted the help of 40 DPS troopers.
Come down, have a good time. You have a good time, there's no issues. But when you start acting silly, like the sheriff said on the previous interview, we've got a jail that's got a whole lot of empty holes.
The sheriff's office have made at least 63 arrests so far in connection to Jeep weekend. As for the enforcement of social distancing, they say it's challenging to enforce.
I mean, you can't. It's not possible to do that on this beach with the amount of people that we have here. We can't do that.
The additional presence of law enforcement has been a welcoming sight for beachgoers, given the history of this event.
Law enforcement's definitely made their visitability and made people chill out and not be as crazy. The cops are doing their job as long as they don't be mean to people who are actually being innocent. then I'm all gravy, baby.
And if you missed out on today's festivities, you can come out tomorrow. Like the Galveston County Sheriff Office says, act responsible while having fun.
20 seconds!
Yeah, that sheriff has given up on his job there.
He's like, there's no point. I'm going to quit. In fact, I'm going to resign
Yeah,
at the end of my shift.
We can't patrol that with that many people. I mean, he's got a point, but it's just funny. We got a lot of jail cells that are all empty with a lot of holes or whatever. I got news. If I was on that beach, I'd be more concerned with like the spread of venereal disease than the spread of coronavirus.
Oh, that was a cast of characters there, wasn't it?
Oh my goodness. The little like 10-second like clip of the people twerking. It's like they put one clip of someone twerking and then another clip of someone twerking like immediately after that. Like what news station thought that was a good idea in their fucking news story?
Yeah, you got the news guy with the terrible voice. You get this girl with the hand washing, and the cop will blow his brains out, and this most bizarre scene you've ever seen on a beach.
Oh yeah.
This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Now, 180 people arrested, Zach. I mean, what kind of a shit show was that?
Yeah, that is a lot, and it looks like they were ready for him too.
So, do you think the cop was maybe not? And so maybe let's try to pinpoint the bullshit here. Was he mad that this thing was even allowed to go on? And he's like, it makes my job impossible. I'm just going to throw everybody in jail, kind of a thing. And so, is this maybe a little too far with this kind of a thing, or should we have just let this topless Jeep thing roll on?
I mean, they said it was impossible to enforce it. And I mean, we've seen everywhere else in the country open this weekend, packed in sardines. I guess they can't stop the event at that point.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And if the sheriff said they weren't arresting people for social distancing, I want to know what the other 180 people did get arrested for. Is what I want to know.
Well, there was one,
or the sheriff said when people get silly.
There was one. I know there was one story here. Shots rang out. We also got, hold on, let me pull up the story here because I turned it off here. So thousands of people gathered on the Gulf Coast Boulevard Peninsula to celebrate Go Topless Jeep Weekend, an annual event that seemed to have more meaning this year for people who have lived the past 2 months mostly stuck in their homes. But then what's going on here? Now, last year, only 80 people were arrested. So maybe we get a little bit of cabin fever, people going a little bit of wild and crazy. It's their first time outside. There was one here where it said... as I said, 180 were arrested for numerous unrelated crimes, including assault, driving without wearing a seatbelt. Well, that's lame. Driving while intoxicated, and public drunkenness. There was also here. I don't know why it's so hard. Here's the same sheriff. I don't know why it's so hard for people to just show up and have fun these days. It disappoints me to see this kind of violence come here because it's usually real quiet here. It's just disappointing to see this kind of things happening. So 2 people died. They got shot, by the way.
Man.
So what you want? I mean, was it this kind of revelry? I mean, we clearly weren't prepared, or at least this community wasn't prepared for this kind of revelry.
I don't know. Something strikes me that this event is like this every year. So... Something strikes me this isn't anything new.
No, probably not. Oh, but it is absolutely absurd, absolutely ridiculous. And it rounds out our top 10 bullshittiest stories of the week. Zach, any more items you want to hit on before we make our way out?
I'm done. I'm bullshitted out, Dave.
Zach, he's got too much bullshit. We hope you enjoyed this show, and you are subscribing to this channel and hit the like button. That would make us very happy. And of course, you can head on to informedamerican.com to get more BS stories and real smart news in your inbox by signing up with your email. Zach, what else is going on in our YouTube space here? All the stuff we're doing, and I know you've been putting up a number of stories as well, right?
Oh, yeah, we got video features going on. We got the Get Informed America podcast that goes up every Friday. We've got tutorial videos. We got all kinds of shit, Dave. So
absolutely.
Stay informed. Go to our YouTube. Sign up for our free e-letter at informedamerican.com.
Absolutely. Well, for Zach, I am Dave, and I've had enough of this BS.
You've been listening to the BS Podcast with Dave and Zach. part of the Informed American Radio Network. Please like and subscribe today in order to get fresh new weekly episodes. Please send us your BS stories to info@informedamerican.com. The world is hard enough, and now we gotta deal with this bullshit.